in the crossfire. Caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the crossfire.
A wonderful day, everyone. Welcome to our show where every details of global issues, trends, and entertainment will be highlighted. This is the online talk, Reveal the Unveil, which torches up the light, bringing change onwards, catalyzing freedom, and empowering people. This is Ramel Guardario, and I am your host for this training program. For today's episode, we will be talking about abortion. Is it beneficial or detrimental? And to address this topic in order for us to be enlightened, we have various guest speakers from all over the world to tackle with us regarding this controversial issue. This is a special episode because our guest speakers for today are experts regarding pro and anti of abortion to shed light for the two sides of the issue. And without any further ado, allow me to introduce our guest speakers for this online talk. Our first guest speaker is a proud pro-choice advocate of abortion. She is a strong activist for women empowerment and self-care. She is a medical doctor who happens to be an active leader of the organization called My Body, My Rules. She came from Las Vegas, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming Dr. Maria Angeli Kumkom.
I believe in respecting women's decisions for their body. It's a way of empowering women, helping women to women. That's my mission.
Our second guest is also a strong pro-choice advocate for abortion. He is an author of 13 books, including his famous book entitled as This Is My Body. He believes that every woman deserves to be respected and cared. He is now building his own foundation on empowering women. Ladies and friends, let us all welcome Mr. Jose Marie Rosales from London, Great Britain.
A pleasant afternoon to all of you. I am a man. I do not know women's struggles, but I can feel their pain. Women are precious. They should be treated well and also should be respected. Good afternoon.
Our third guest is a sturdy advocate for anti-choice on abortion. She is a spiritual proponent for 15 years now. She has a strong conviction that every life is valuable and it is a gift from up above. She travels the world talking and influencing people on discouraging abortion and promoting one's life. From Coloma, Honduras, let's give a clap to Sister Albi Lazaga.
So every child deserves to see the beauty of the world. They should not be threatened, for they are all valuable in eyes of God.
Our fourth and last but not the least guest speaker is also a steadfast advocate for anti-choice abortion. He is an influential and motivational speaker around the world. He always emphasizes that being a mother is a calling and it should be given importance. He also believes that the future generation needs people that value life and have fear in God, and it should start by birthing and raising children well. Ladies and friends, let's give a resounding applause to Mr. Angelo Salasalan from La Romana, Dominican Republic.
Hello. Giving birth must be one of the fulfilling and priceless experience of a woman. Women should embrace it and be passionate of being a mother. They should be responsible in raising well their offsprings.
There you have it, ladies and friends, our four beautiful and handsome guests from all over the world, and they will be joining with us in the entire show. Hello, ma'am and sir, good day. Thank you for this great opportunity to talk with you.
Hello, ma'am.
So thank you for having us in your program.
Oh, it's my pleasure too. Anyways, for this episode, I will be asking questions to all of you and you will answer this based on your stand, whether it is pro-choice or anti-choice. The question will be answered by the pro first and it will be followed by the anti. Of course, the pro-choice guest, Dr. Komkom and Mr. Rosales, will answer it as pro. On the other hand, our anti-choice guest, Sister Lazaga and Mr. Lasasalan, will answer it as on the anti side as well. So the purpose of this is to give awareness awareness and education to our viewers the importance of life, health, and self-care. Okay, I will not hold this too long and we will now start our talk. So as we all know, abortion is known as termination of pregnancy, right? So the pregnancy is ended either by taking medicines or having a surgical procedure. So moreover, abortion has been a controversial term since the ancient times by either extracting an embryo or the fetus before maturity. So in your point of view, how are you going to describe abortion in a deeper sense?
Being a woman, in perspective that is in favor of abortion means having equality and the same freedom as men. Women have a moral right to decide what to do with their bodies. The right to abortion is vital to gender equality. The right to abortion is vital for individual women to achieve their full potential. Banning abortion puts women at risk by forcing them to use illegal abortionists. The right to abortion should be part of a portfolio pregnancy rights that enables women to make a truly free choice whether to end a pregnancy. Abortion is an important element of women's rights.
So abortion are dripping with hatred. So women who do this are selfish, irresponsible, sluts, whores, murderers, callous, heartless, and evil. So in the same way, abortion is also carried with highly negative stigma for it's denoted as a quack physician with a bad intention and not good enough to practice real medicine and would butcher women.
Oh, it's very interesting to hear the two sides of the story. So when it comes to pro-choice, it's all about promoting freedom for gender equality towards women, and in the side of anti-choice, it's just depicted that women who do abortion are selfish, irresponsible, murderers, and evil. So the question is, why do women have abortions?
You know what? Using terms such as selfish and war to describe women who abort, or tissue and clump of cells to describe embryos and fetuses, encourages people to approach abortion with a dichotomous perspective and provides a psychologically easier way to deal with uncomfortable realities that make abortion a difficult issue. Ignoring the complicated nuances of any moral dilemma, asserting that your way is the only right way, and vilifying anyone who disagrees with your point of view is a simpler path to take. The more we dehumanize those with whom we disagree, the easier it is to convince ourselves that we are right, that we are the good guys.
As an anti-advocate of abortion, I am very distrustful of women who chose abortion. And I believe women engage in abortion for large frivolous reason. For you to know, the world is full of women who prepare their careers, their skiing trips, or their holidays and vacation rather than being pregnant and having babies. Moreover, there are too often women have abortion for reasons of convenience, just for convenience, for money, and for having good time.
Okay, so when we talk about abortion, it is something that people want to adhere, and others would say that committing abortion is immoral and unethical. So how are you going to shed light abortion when it comes to moral standards?
As a pro-choice of abortion, I have a big trust of aborting women or acting morally. It just happens that the anti-choice are just highly suspicious of most women's motivations who seek abortion. Aborting women should not be stereotyped as selfish and self-absorbed that permeates public consciousness because women who choose abortion often have fear being labeled with these character traits, and this will ultimately affect their self-esteem and self-worth. Abortion rights also involve stripping the fetus of women of moral import. Only the self-conscious and rational individuals have or can have a right to life, given that only with these traits can one foresee oneself as a continuing entity existing over time. So, logically, this entails that even infanticide is not intrinsically immoral. It is just the people's negative reaction against infanticide is simply a reflection of a well-entrenched taboo rather than an indication of moral impermissibility.
So morally, it is unrightful. So it is alternatively means that you are killing an innocent child. So personhood amendment, if I may be shared, is dedicated to nonviolent and advancement of recognition and protection of a God-given. So inalienable right to life of innocent women being a legal person at every stage of their biological development. So personhood amendment protects the newborn child and gives the life they deserve to live, also not to the circle of abortion. So abortion really does not drive through morality, and it is really a break law to a virtue.
We should not base this into biblical aspects. Instead, we should focus its implications to every woman's freedom and choice for her body, right? According to Zara Weddington, a pregnancy to a woman is perhaps one of the most determinative aspects of her life. It disrupts her body, that's first. It disrupts her education, that's second. It disrupts her employment, and that's third. And it often disrupts her entire family life. That's why women have the right to access abortion. So we don't have to question the moral dimensions of societal practices that impose such a decision of women.
I beg to disagree. Doing an abortion is killing a child. Even if a pro-choice advocates an abortion consider it as just a medical operation, but it's not. It is taking off at least a potential life.
Wow, it seems that our discussion seems to be intriguing and become tougher and tougher. It's getting hotter and hotter. As we all know, abortion is one of the most societal and controversial issue. So how are you going to link abortion into economical motives?
Many women do use the right to an abortion as a mechanism to avoid the hardships and obligations of parenthood. In particular, unwanted motherhood or motherhood for which the woman is not prepared. Moreover, teenagers who had abortions were more likely to have completed high school or more economic stability and use prevention. Women can have a wanted abortion enables them to maintain a positive future outlook and achieve their aspirational life plans.
Well, the view pro-choice advocate as people with ulterior motives who push abortion in order to make a profit at the expense of women in difficult situations. So they are said to be selling abortion and the magic of emotional appeal. So pro-choice advocates are considered the antithesis of democratic principle. They are described as anti-family and anti-child. So they are portrayed as a evil people who revel in the gruesome destruction of infants. So women doing this are irresponsible and not capable of raising child.
So basically, poverty is one of the major drivers of abortion. So abortion seems to be related to medical and clinical aspects, right? So how about in association to health standards?
An unwanted fetus should be regarded as akin to an intrusive aggressor, or should we say as a mere psychological mass of cells. So by viewing the fetus this way, this paves that the way of regarding all abortion as an act of self-defense, for if a woman does not consent to this transformation and use of her body, the fetus imposition constitutes injury sufficient to justify the use of deadly force to stop it. Moreover, the fetus is not a conscious moral agent that deliberately intrudes on a woman's body. So in this way, the fetus violates a woman's rights by taking her body and liberty against her will to serve its own needs.
Well, for us to know, aborting women who experiences sadness following an abortion actually have post-abortion syndrome. It is a medical disease. No medical or psychological organization classifies it as a clinical disorder. People who argue that past exist contend that practically all abortions caused women to have serious psychiatric issues. Abortion is harmful to women's mental health, and so devastating that it should be stopped.
So it is very nice to hear that the pro-choice is talking about that having an abortion is just a self-defense for transformation of the body. However, the anti-choice as well said that after getting an abortion, there is something the psychiatric disorder or the clinical disorder that a woman can experience, just like the past or the post-abortion syndrome. So basically, abortion has health implications to women doing this. Obviously, we all know that about fetus, right? We all know about fetus. So what can you say about the claim that fetuses are part of the woman's body?
Yes, exactly. I agree. Fetuses are parts of their mother's body like an appendix, and therefore it is easily disposable. Continually referring to them thusly facilitates viewing abortion solely as a medical rather than a moral issue. If fetuses are nothing more than parasites, their removal from a womb is inconsequential as a product of conception. Then, like all products, they can be disposed of according to the whims of their owner without a second thought. If they are simply tissue akin to any other organic material in the body, then they can easily remove as an appendix.
No, fetuses are not part of the woman's body, so it is not mere an organ or appendage, but it is completely separate entity its own right. So moreover, all women includes four fetuses are social entities. So when we think of the newborn child as having gotten here, so we ignore where it has come from. So but children do not enter the world from outside the world. So they do not come from Mars or out of the black box. So by the time they are born, they have been here in the world for the 9 months. So not as a children, not as a people, but as a part of their mother's body. So a baby enters the world already in a relationship. So a physical, a social, and emotional relationship with a woman in whose body it was nurtured.
It's good to know that you are giving contrast between the two. So recently, I've read a book that talk about fetuses are not yet human. So abortion is not killing a person. What can you say about this claim?
Yes, I will speak defensively about fetal life. I will defend abortion rights by completely dehumanizing the fetus. Because, for your information, a fairly developed fetus is no more person-like than a newly fertilized egg. Because the fetus does not possess the relevant traits of a personhood, such as self-consciousness, reasoning ability, and sentience. In the relevant aspect, a fetus, even the fully developed one, is still considerably less person-like than is the average mature mammal. So how can you be able to say that abortion is killing a person, where in the first place the fetus is not yet a person-like? And I think that a rational person must conclude that if the right to life of a fetus is to be based on a resemblance to a person, then it cannot be said to have any more right to life than, right?
No, I opposed, because the embryo or fetus is already acting in a conscious, deliberate manner, projecting onto the fetus mental traits it simply cannot have. Plants, for example, soak up nutrients from the soil, but it would seem odd to say that they are doing so to serve their own interests. For this would imply that plants are aware of their interests and are knowingly acting in a way to advance them. Although it is accurate to describe cancer cells as intruders or aggressors or as coercing someone into having cancer, such descriptions apply only to conscious agents, it is equally incorrect to apply such terms to embryos or fetuses.
Oh, it seems that I want this to talk more and more to make clear to us. So, in continuation, what is your point of view on tolerating and legalizing abortion?
The stark reality facing young single mothers is that our society is woeful unprepared or unwilling to help support the unexpected child. The correlation between abortion rates and poverty and between single motherhood and poverty need to emphasize. Studies have illustrated that children who are born unwanted to women denied abortion suffer from negative psychological and emotional repercussions.
So women who choose abortion are lacking of appreciation for the value of human life and believing of that it is permissible to kill anyone who is unwanted. So they do not value the people and maybe they do not value themselves as well. So this may be the reason why these women are killing their kids. So because if you're going to think of it, the choice to be parent even if your unplanned child is still noble and can make her truly female. So basically, by contrast, women who abort are marked as unfemale or at least falling away and weak. Also, one of the reasons women pursue abortion or endorse abortion choice is that they are materialistic and have a less time of caring.
Criminalizing abortion does not do much to save fetuses, but does lead to illegal abortion activity. Countries where abortions are broadly permitted tend to have lower abortion rates than countries with restricted abortion laws. The most effective factors for reducing abortion rates are not outright prohibition, but a combination of access to contraception, education on how to use contraception, and social programs designed to care for those who face an unplanned pregnancy.
For you to know, the ideal woman and the mother should be purely selfless and giving. Furthermore, the idyllic woman is one who exists for others. According to Caitlin Moran in her book entitled as How to Be a Woman, it stated there that the view of motherhood is so idealized and misty. Being a mother is considered to be gentle and giver of life. With this, the thought of a mother subsequently setting limits on her capacity to nurture and refusing to give further life seems obscene. For mothers must be loving and protective of all life, however nascent or putative it might be. The greatest mother is the perfect mother that would carry to every child she conceived, no matter how disruptive or ruinous, because her love would be great enough for anything and everyone. So aborting women should be guilty and felt conscience for themselves.
So, to state the fact and to address the obvious, only women can commit abortion, right? So, is abortion correlated to feminist theory? And into what extent?
So the tendency to strip the fetus of any moral value was especially prevalent among feminist women in the early days of their abortion rights struggle. Feminist arguments about abortion didn't so much put women at their center as put women by themselves. So feminists would contend that getting an abortion was no different from getting a haircut or a tonsillectomy, that the fetus was just a clump of cells or the equivalent of a fish. Whereas in the United States, abortion was asserted to be a health issue, not a moral issue. Feminists had wisely realized that it was impossible for two sets of rights, the fetus and the woman's, to be contained in one skin. They had not only rejected fetal rights, but the fetus itself.
So women's life prior to feminist movement allow us to better understand why embryos and fetuses have been regarded too flippantly. So a woman's capacity as a person lay solely in being a wife and a mother. So women were told that the highest value and the only commitment for women is the fulfillment of their own femininity, so which is connected by their domestic responsibilities. So, however, any interest is seeking fulfillment outside the home through education or adopting a career was presented as having negative consequences. Women who did could never hope to successfully marry and have a family, so further the girls are there only to fulfill their sexual functions.
As a pro-choice advocate, I do not regard anti-choice advocates as genuinely good people who truly believes that fetuses are morally equivalent to infants and are therefore disturbed by their deaths. Rather, some charged anti-choice advocates may be described as related with sexism, elitism, and authoritarianism, viewing them as religious extremists fueled by extreme religious convictions and perpetrators of a rhetoric of fear and hate.
Abortion rights and indeed feminism itself had come to be identified in the popular mind with an anti-family, anti-child mentality that had little respect for traditional values and cultural traditions. The opponents of feminism and abortion attempted to capitalize on this. Feminism, they said, see children as a mere inconvenience, obstacles to career fulfillment. Pro-abortionists, they said, have no respect for the value of life and even worse, want to impose their lack of values on the rest of the society.
The woman and the fetus are not enemies. Rather, women make abortion decisions often out of care for their existing dependents or concern for their own future welfare, and sometimes out of concern for the fetus itself. The decision to abort is a complex, emotional, and social decision. Abortion rights imagery should move toward emphasizing this reality. However, regarding fetuses this way means we don't have to deal with the accurate statement that anti-choice advocates often repeat, that abortion really does stop a beating heart. It does destroy at the very least a potential person. So although we can legitimately debate what all this means for assigning rights to fetuses, we should at least honestly acknowledge that abortion involves killing a being, very unlike the terms that are typically used to dehumanize it. Thank you so much, our beloved guest, for talking and sharing with us this controversial yet crucial issue. Thank you for your time and dedication. This has been Ramel Guardario, your host, saying we should learn to balance our actions before it become a problematic call for attention. Thank you, and God bless everyone.